Hello everyone and welcome to this AWS tutorial. In our tutorial today, I will provide a brief overview on Amazon Bedrock model customization. These are some reference URLs that I've mentioned over here. I would certainly recommend that you visit these URLs as they have additional information on this particular topic. I have also created a playlist for Amazon Bedrock on my channel. As I create additional tutorials and hands-on labs, I will have them added to this particular playlist. Both the reference URLs as well as URL to Amazon Bedrock playlist will be mentioned in the description of this video. So what is model customization? Model customization is the process of providing training data to a model in order to improve its performance for a specific use case or for a specific task. So let's say if we go for an interview, especially let's say as a Gen AI developer, which is kind of a coming up role or a profession, if you may, then an obvious question that will be asked is like, hey, have you done model customization? What do you mean by model customization? The answer is very simple. Model customization is a process of providing training data to a model in order to improve its performance for a specific use case or for a specific task. Now, you can customize Amazon Bedrock Foundation models in order to improve their performance using this training data in order to create a better customer experience. Now, how do you go about doing something like this? So Bedrock provides 3 customization methods. The first one is distillation. Second one is fine-tuning. And the third one is continued pre-training. So these are the 3 methods that are available. So let us look at these 3 methods. The first one is distillation. Model distillation is the process of transferring knowledge from a larger, more intelligent model, also known as teacher, to a smaller, faster, cost-efficient model, also known as student. So, a simple process in which you transfer your knowledge from a larger, more intelligent model, that is a teacher model, to a smaller, faster, and most importantly, a cost-efficient model, also known as a student. Now, you will ask, why would somebody want to do like something like this? I already have a model. It is intelligent. It is trained. It's doing a good job. Why would I want to do something like this? Why would I want to transfer knowledge from my larger intelligent model to a smaller, faster, cost-efficient model? First, it's a smaller model. Second, as we said, it's faster. So the response, the performance will be better. Remember, we just said that it is for a better customer experience. So better performance is better customer experience. And most importantly, remember that at the end of the day, it's all about dollars. So cost efficiency. That's one of the reasons why you would do something like this. In fact, in most cases, the top reason is cost efficiency. And the second reason is generally basically a faster model. Now, Amazon Bedrock behind the scenes uses for distillation the latest data synthesis techniques to generate diverse, high quality responses. Now, this data synthesis techniques is also known as synthetic data creation. So the data that is created by these techniques is called as synthetic data. And this is done from the teacher model. This synthetic data, in turn, is used to fine tune the student model for a specific use case. That's why you would want to do distillation. Yes, you have a larger model. The larger model is intelligent, is doing its job. But what you want to do, or what you want to achieve out of model distillation, is essentially using a smaller, faster, cost efficient model to get better at a specific use case or a specific task, and thereby providing a better customer experience. Remember that all of these techniques are for a specific use case or a specific task. You want that model to be best at that specific use case or a specific task. If you do not have a specific use case or a specific task, this method or these methods will fall flat. Okay. So if you are going in this direction, you better first shortlist your specific use case, your specific task, and then go in this direction. You need to have that use case or that task to create a distilled, a fine tuning, or a continued pre-training model. So model customization is most effective only if you have a specific use case and a specific task. And I cannot stress enough on that. Now, in order to create a distilled model, you can prepare labeled input data or prompt response pairs. Or what you can do, assuming you have CloudWatch logging on for your teacher model, then you can go and look at your invocation logs for your teacher model and then use these invocation logs to train the student model. Now, if you have them in S3, that is great. If you're not, you can always turn on invocation logging, generate your invocation logs, and get your logs into Amazon S3. If you have them elsewhere, please bring them to Amazon S3. Because you can use these invocation logs as training data for your student model. So you have two options. First is to, generate labeled input data, which is a standard option. If you do not want to do that, or you don't want to buy labeled data, you don't want to, create labeled input data, then you can use the invocation logs. Now, how does Amazon Bedrock enable you to do model distillation? So you'll have to go into Amazon Bedrock. You'll have to go into, model customization. And then over there, one of the techniques is distillation. And there you will have to create a distillation job. Of course, you will have to prepare your training data set. You will have to create a .jsonl file, wherein each line is a JSON object representing a record. Finally, you'll have to select your teacher model, your student model, and then execute your distillation job. Once your distillation job completes, you can analyze the results for your customization process. And remember, again, this is for a specific use case or a specific task. So your training data set has to be customized for that specific use case or that specific task. Now, this is the most important thing that you'll have to remember. Once you create your distilled model, you must purchase provision throughput. Now, this is true as of today, 8th of June, 2025, while I'm recording this video. It may change in the future, but right now you must purchase provision throughput. And as per Amazon's responsible and ethical AI policy, Amazon Bedrock doesn't use your data to train any other teacher or student model for public use. So you can go ahead and basically, do whatever that is necessary, create your distilled model for a specific use case, and be worry-free. Now let us look at the second technique or the second method, that is fine tuning. Fine tuning is to train a foundation model to improve its performance for a specific task by providing labeled data. By providing this training data set of labeled examples, the model learns to associate what type of outputs should be generated for certain types of inputs. So what you're doing over here is you're using labeled data to train your model to improve its performance for a specific task in which it will basically learn and understand as to what types of outputs should be generated or that is expected out of that model to be generated for certain types of inputs. Now, of course, during this process, the model parameters will be adjusted. The model's performance is expected to be improved for that task represented by a training data set. So remember, it's always specific to your use case or to a specific task, and your training data set should be as per your use case or as per your task. Now, how do you go about doing something like this in Amazon Bedrock? You do this by creating a fine-tuning job, by preparing a training and a validation data set. Remember, validation data set is optional. So if you provide a validation data set, great. If you do not provide a validation data set, then you can also use a percentage of your training data to evaluate. There is a parameter at the bottom when you create a fine-tuning job that you can provide a percentage, I think it's between 5 to 50 of your training data set that can be used for evaluation if you're not providing a validation data set. And basically, you create these data sets as a JSON-L file, wherein each object is a JSON object corresponding to a record. Now, whether a validation data set is supported and the format of your training and validation data set will depend on the following factors: the type of fine-tuning customization job, and most importantly, the input-output modalities of the data. So what are the different types of input and output modalities that are supported for fine-tuning? Is text-to-text models, text-to-image to text, and text-to-image models, and image-to-embedding models. And of course, once you have created your fine-tuned model, you must purchase provision throughput to use it. Now let us go ahead and look at the last method or the last technique, which is continued pre-training. In continued pre-training, you provide unlabeled data. So in the previous two techniques, we provided labeled data. Here you provide unlabeled data to pre-train a foundation model, familiarizing it with certain types of inputs. You can provide data for specific topics in order to expose the model to those areas. Now, continued pre-training process will tweak the model parameters to accommodate input data and to improve its domain knowledge. So how do you go about doing continued pre-training in Amazon Bedrock? Just like the other two, you will be creating a pre-training job, preparing training and validation data. Of course, validation data is optional. You'll create a JSON-L file wherein each line is a JSON object corresponding to a record. And the modalities that are supported for pre-training is text-to-text models. And just like the previous two techniques, once you have created your pre-trained model, you must purchase provision throughput to use it. So I hope that this tutorial was helpful. We have gone through model customization and all three methods. I will be creating labs for these methods as well. Hopefully this clarification helped, and that will help to basically work on the hands-on labs. This is it from me today. If you're new to my channel, do like and subscribe. Do post your comments. If you want me to change anything in my method, in my way of presenting, do let me know. And thank you very much and have a great day. Take care. Bye bye.